The Battle of Mons, fought on 23 August 1914, was the first major engagement between the British Expeditionary Force, BEF, and the German Empire in the First World War. On the surface, it appears to be a small skirmish compared to the colossal battles that followed on the Western Front. Yet Mons continues to provoke debate among historians, military theorists, and even cultural commentators. It represents both the dawn of industrial-scale conflict and the persistence of myth in shaping public memory of war. At first glance, the battle was militarily insignificant. The BEF, numbering around 70,000, faced a German First Army that was more than 3 times its size. Outflanked and heavily pressured, the British fought a day-long defensive action along the Mont-Condé Canal in Belgium before withdrawing in good order. Casualties were relatively light in comparison with later slaughter. About 1,600 British soldiers were killed, wounded, or captured, against approximately 5,000 German losses. Strategically, Mons did little to slow the German advance through Belgium and northern France. Yet, paradoxically, it gained an outsized place in both British and German war narratives. One reason lies in perception. For the Germans, encountering the BEF came as a shock. Kaiser Wilhelm II had dismissed Britain's small professional army as contemptible. Instead, German troops found themselves halted by a highly disciplined force with superior marksmanship and tactical cohesion. The British thin red line of rifle fire was so effective that some Germans mistook it for machine gun fire. This revelation altered German assessments of their opponent, granting the BEF a reputation that endured throughout the war. For the British public, Mons became a symbol of courage against overwhelming odds. Newspapers depicted the engagement as a heroic stand, a David versus Goliath encounter that showcased British martial spirit. Out of this atmosphere emerged one of the most persistent wartime legends, the Angels of Mons. According to reports, ghostly angelic figures protected British soldiers from annihilation, ensuring their survival. Whether born from misinterpreted accounts, deliberate propaganda, or collective desperation, the myth took root in the imagination of a nation confronting the terrifying scale of modern war. It demonstrated that societies at the time still sought supernatural explanations for survival, even as mechanized slaughter began to dominate the battlefield. The controversy, however, lies in how Mons has been remembered. Some argue that celebrating the battle as a British triumph obscures the harsh reality. It was a tactical retreat that foreshadowed years of stalemate. Others suggest that the emphasis on angelic visions was a deliberate manipulation, a myth designed to sustain morale when rational analysis might have led to despair. If true, Mons represents not only the first clash of armies, but also the first major victory of wartime propaganda. Moreover, Mons challenges assumptions about the so-called Old Contemptibles, the nickname adopted proudly by the BEF. Were they truly a band of elite professionals who single-handedly held back German militarism, or were they simply the first to be sacrificed in a conflict that would soon demand millions of conscripts? The glorification of Mons risks romanticizing what was, in essence, the beginning of industrialized attrition. In retrospect, Mons can be seen as a microcosm of the First World War itself. It contained elements of courage, tragedy, myth, and futility all at once. The tactical withdrawal anticipated the grim reality of fighting retreats, trench warfare, and prolonged stalemate. The legends surrounding it demonstrated how quickly modern societies could fuse industrial conflict with medieval imagery. And the disproportionate attention it received reveals how nations construct meaning out of otherwise marginal events to serve political and emotional needs. Ultimately, the Battle of Mons is less important for its military outcome than for the debates it continues to generate. Was it a glorious stand, a needless waste, or the beginning of modern propaganda warfare? The answer depends less on battlefield statistics than on how one interprets the intersection of myth and history. That, perhaps, is why Mons continues to fascinate. It forces us to confront not only what happened, but also why we still need stories, whether angelic or otherwise, to make sense of war.